Welcome to PMI Manitoba's podcast series, Keeping It Real, where we talk about real stories, project insights, and community success. Take a deep dive at our pilot episode, where PMI Manitoba's president, Raphael Vitarelli, and director of professional development, Darwin Hudson, discuss the topic on maximizing project success. So let's get on to it.
Hello. Good afternoon and good morning. I am right here with Darren Hudson, our Director of Professional Development here at PMI Manitoba. And today, we wanted to talk about the Maximizing Project Success report that was released a couple of months ago. Pierre talked about it at the PMI Global Conference. Pierre Lamont is the Chief Executive Officer at PMI Global. So he's the one setting the pace, setting the vision for us right here at PMI Manitoba. And as part of the work that PMI Global has done, they wanted to dive into how we deliver project management. And the vision that Pierre has is that project management success goes beyond the project delivery. So the message that Pierre has for us, we can take a quick look at his video at what he's saying, is that he wants to put a movement together where we're going to go beyond project management success. We're going to go towards project success. Let's see what that means to Pierre before we come back to you, Darren, and we talk it through.
We would like to initiate a movement to reframe what our profession should bring to the world and feel accountable for, which implies broadening our perspective and accountability beyond project management success to simply project success. If we want to think more strategically, as many of you say, and to really focus on what will drive project success beyond project management success, of course, we still need to get the PM basics right, absolutely, but we also need to truly prioritize the perception of value by stakeholders. We, all of us together, our profession needs to own this. So at PMI, we decided to kick off the debate to better define what successful projects look like and what factors contribute to project success or failure. And hopefully from there, initiate the movement that I was referring to.
Yeah. Thanks, Raphael. Excited to be here and explore how PMI's vision for project success ties into what we are building here in Manitoba.
Very awesome what he says, right? So our accountability beyond project management success towards project success. So the way I look at it, Darren, for example, and if you can comment a little bit, is when I look at your super series.
Yeah, we call it a PD Superpower Series, a very small initiative just to engage the, and showcase our members as well as to inspire our guys. So yeah, PD Superpower Series, that's the name.
So when I look at the PD Superpower Series, I'm pretty sure you had a plan, a project plan, how to deliver that to our membership, how you wanted to engage, and how you wanted to showcase your volunteers. And to me, that is project management success, right? So you use the schedule, you had a budget, you had a couple teams of stakeholders, and you look at the iron triangle, scope, schedule, and budget, had some risks in there, and you manage and you deliver. That is project management success. Great. But now, Pierre is looking beyond project management success. He wants to look at project success. So what's the value that is generating beyond the delivery, the execution of that project? That's exactly what this report is about. How do you see it?
Well, you just take a couple of steps back. The name of the report is Maximizing Project Success. They have done a bit of a research on it. When I say bit of, it's just an understatement. They used 10,000 people from about 141 countries and done in-depth interviews to come to a conclusion. So basically, what they are saying is they're shifting away from, I don't want to say shifting away, but they are trying to look beyond project delivery. So a measure of success is not just delivering it or executing it. It is beyond that. So there is at least 4, I don't want to call it pillars, but 4 measures that you should be looking into when you are delivering that. So the key points is to manage perceptions, own project success, reassess parameters, and expand perspective. What are your thoughts about it, Rafael?
Yeah, so very big report, done 10,000 project professionals, right? So across different industries, across different geographies, PMI Global spent a lot of time in investigating project overall. 10,000 people, different industries. They had about 55 questions and 150 in-depth interview. The conclusion is that in today's world, we're not only focusing on scope, schedule, and budget, but we are going beyond that. So once Darren delivers his superpower series, or let's say Darren, you and your team ran the Reignite conference right here as a project in 2024, right? So you have your schedule, your budget, your team, you executed during the day, you had the speakers lined up. So it was a great event right here in Manitoba. That was great. Great success for project management success. Now, what about project success? What is beyond that? What's the perception of the stakeholders? How did I, as the president of PMI, perceived what you and your team delivered? How did the membership perceive what you delivered, right? How did that maximize the return on perceived value by the stakeholders that were touched by your project? So if I bring it close to my heart, for example, my IT healthcare projects here, our projects are not only about executing it within scope, schedule, and budget, but it's also about what's the perceived value that the stakeholders have when we deliver that project, that system. How does it go beyond the project in the next 3, 4, 5 years? How does it maximize success? How does it move the bar forward? So if you look at the report, Darren, to me, what I really like here is the definition that they came up. So 10,000 project professionals, different geographies, and their definition of success after concluding the research is project success is delivered value that was worth the effort and expense. So if I look at your Reignite event in 2024, if I look at the projects you did in 2024, the executive dinner, you were able to land a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, Tech Thursday. So all of those things, they were beyond just project management success. They are now project success. They are delivering value worth the effort and the expense that our chapter put into 2024 for you and your team to execute those events. That's how I see it.
That's right. How I frame it is not looking at the individual events in isolation, but rather seeing them as just one part of the puzzle. Let me put it this way. So you referred to the vision and the mission that the professional development team had. Some of these events that we executed was just part of the overall mission where we want to go. And just by executing that, we are not going to call it a project success. Our project success is going to be measured by the perceived value, like you mentioned earlier, by the members at the end of the year. That is how I see it. So let's just put it this way. It starts with listening to every stakeholder, whether it's the chapter member, a team member, a sponsor, a volunteer, it doesn't matter. But that's where it starts. Our job is to align our project outcomes, in this particular case, the event outcomes, to those visions. And it's about fostering a culture where teams feel empowered and to think strategically and focus on impact, not just execution. I mean, what that whole thing looks like on the ground, the conference doesn't end on the second day or the last day.
This is actually great, right? So in our little analogy here, the conference is our project, is your project that you ran in 2024. You and your team, great work there, amazing. Great project management success on schedule, scope, and budget, delivered on time. Everything ran smoothly with a couple of hiccups and things behind the scenes that you guys don't tell me.
Yeah, there's always one of those.
Great.
Like as project managers, we know. I mean, planning is just all fun, and during execution stage, it is just a lot of mess coming at all at once. So I still love it. I love the challenge, and that's all about. That's pretty much what it means to be part of a project, right? There's no way avoiding that, and our teams take pride in handling those things, right?
Right. And in that analogy, project management success, great, well done, executed. Now, project success, what's the value beyond the project management? Well, the project management success you had for the 2024 conference Well, now people want to come for new conferences in 2025. Now we have new sponsorships. Now we have engaged broader industries. We're trying to get more into construction, right? So there's more value that comes with that. So if I go back to the 4 points you talked at the beginning, look at the report, the Maximize Project Success Report from PMI Global. Then you have the four big points, right? So we should look at project success, which is beyond project management success. Point number 2,
Yeah, I would like to
manage
give one
perception.
example to that. So on October 2nd, we did the executive dinner. The event was executed, but the measure of success for us is still continuing. From that event, it was a great event where we were able to bring in our sponsors, business partners, some key members who were really valuable for our project management community, all in one space. And even though it was executed, it was beautiful. Everyone had a good time, but it went beyond that. I can only speak for what I have seen. From that event, we were able to foster some really valuable connections. I can only speak for one or two for now. Chamber of Commerce is one of those. IAPA is one of those. We had a joint event in January, and with IAPA, we are planning. It's almost done. We are planning on delivering two events this year together. So the definition of project success is not end, for me at least, and this is in alignment with what Pierre was talking about. Execution is done, but the project success, it's still continuing on. And again, this is all about perception of value. And I believe listening to the stakeholders, like, you were talking earlier, that is the key. Once you have the vision and mission set, and if it is based on what stakeholders' requirements, I think we are halfway there. We just have to continue that mission. Sometimes we go off track. We need the vision and mission pretty much to keep us on track, come back in again, and keep at it, and just keep redefining what it means by project success.
This is good. This makes a lot of sense. That's exactly how I see the executive dinner and the engagement we had, right? So that event was a success because it had project management success, good scope, scheduled budget, a little bit of an agile methodology, a little bit of a waterfall, more of a hybrid overall. But now what's the value beyond that delivery? The value beyond is now partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, with IIBA, our partnership with the Economic Development Winnipeg, where PMI Manitoba now can reach 1,700 employers out there through Economic Development Winnipeg. So the value is beyond. And that goes to another point in the report that says relentlessly reassess project parameters. So if the executive dinner, the parameter was how many executives we're going to get together, we're going to expose PMI Manitoba to them, what's the number of industry, those were our parameters, right? Now, after it's done in 2025, what are our new parameters? Well, how many of those we actually landed partnership? How many of those things we never even thought about? How many of those are now giving us access to 1,700 employers in Manitoba? So that links back to what Pierre is saying. In today's world, with generative AI, rapid changes, COVID, things happening around the world, you cannot just stick to a schedule, a scope, a budget. You cannot just stick to a methodology and keep on refining that. You have to be open and reassess our roles as project managers. We're not only about delivering that project, we are about the bigger vision. Where are we going? How are we reassessing our parameters? Once our project is done, what value are we delivering? What's the perceived value of the stakeholders? For the executive dinner, who are the stakeholders? Is it the delivery of the event for the people that participated? Is it the membership at PMI Manitoba that will benefit from the partnerships that we're having? So the world is changing rapidly, and so we need to do the same as project professionals. And I love this movement that PR is pushing us forward, and I hope to see more and more project managers thinking outside of the box. I know it's a cliche word, but phrase, thinking outside of delivering the project in scope, schedule, and budget. Not that that's not important, but going beyond that. How does your project help your company succeed? How does your project help your company deliver better values to their stakeholders? How does your project make the world a little better? Maybe it's economic development, maybe it's carbon reduction, right? So what's the perceived value? And this is to me a very, very good place to be, Darren, right now in project management. How do you feel about that?
Like you said, don't get me wrong, we still try to approach every event, every program with clear project management framework, detailed planning, risk assessment, and stakeholder engagement. But the success wasn't just about delivering on time within budget. It was about creating an experience that resonated with our members. So take Reignite, our 2-day conference as an example. It wasn't just a conference. It was a platform for our members to connect, share ideas, and feel part of the larger community. I mean, it is not a classroom where you come in, do a course, and move away. But no, it was beyond that. We had, inspiring speakers, interactive workshops, and networking opportunities all within that 2-day conference. And the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. Now, take that and going back to what you were saying, constant reassessment of the parameters, put them all together. Every year or every time, you're going to see something new. You're going to see something is perceived as valuable. Again, I'm just trying to tie them all up together. Right now, you and me are talking about reassessing the parameters and then, the perceived value. All those things are tied together by constantly in touch with the members. Their feedback, it's a feedback loop, right? They give me the feedback, we go back, reassess, okay, this is what they perceive as value in 2025. We adjust. And then we go back to our planning, we go back to the books, and then change it and deliver it.
Very nice, very nice. So tying it back to our 4 points here, project success is beyond project management success. So up and above and after you deliver it, what are you delivering here? The definition of project success, right, by the report is the delivered value that was worth the effort and expense. Amazing. Okay, point number 2, manage perceptions. So perception of your customers, of your member base, of your sponsors, of the project team, right? How engaged were they in your project? Are they happy to run again with you for the next project, right? Number 3, very important, and we didn't touch on it as much, on project success beyond project management success. So that the point number 3 on the report is, and we're going to show it to you here on the side, is for us as project professionals to be responsible not only for the scope, schedule, and budget, but to be responsible, accountable, and to be thinking about how our project is going to go beyond. What's the project success beyond project management success? And then the last point, the relentless reassessment of project parameters. But now, Darren, we talked about a lot of stuff, right? So PMI, the great things that professional development team has done, and yourself, and what you have done to me. And I know I keep on bringing it up. You don't like when I talk about it, but I like to talk about it because it's important. You revolutionized the way the chapter was run, the way we run the PDDs, the way we're engaging with our members. So those are very important, close things to my heart. I would not have had the partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, the BizConnect that we ran in January, because of the things that you have done. And I know we're talking about the maximize project success, but to me, the way you ran your projects was exactly like that. You were not only thinking about you and your team, how you would deliver those projects, the Reignite, the executive dinner, the Elevate last year, but you were also thinking, how does that elevate the success of the chapter? How does that impact your stakeholders, myself, our members, our sponsors, right? So that is amazing. If I put a pin on that and I say, for all our members here that are listening to us right now, the projects that they are managing, so let's say they are managing a marketing campaign project, right? How do I put on top of that the difference between project management success and project success? And how do I look back and say, okay, here's how they can relentlessly reassess their project parameters? How do you see that? So if we get outside of the PMI world and we look at a marketing campaign project, how would you see that? Can you walk me through? Can you walk our members through that?
Well, the way I see it is 2 things. So again, this is going back to the report. Well, if I have to say, then this is how I say the project success was traditionally measured by our triangle, schedule, budget, and scope. But the new definition is stakeholder value and achievement of desired outcomes. One of the ways that you can get to that point is by constantly listening to the stakeholders. And I can't think of anything beyond that. And I might just keep on saying about that. Yeah, always go back to your stakeholders, because what they perceive as value is what matters at the end of the day.
Right. And in this example, let's say we're running a market campaign, right? Let's say it's not PMI, it's
the
one of
marketing
our
campaign.
members
Sorry.
running a marketing campaign. So then how do you see for that specific project, let's say it's running a marketing campaign right here in Manitoba, and their goal is to engage a couple people and maybe land some deals. Let's say they have a specific product. But how do they manage that with this view, the view of the report, which is value beyond the project management success? In that example, how do you see that?
Okay, there's quite a lot to unpack there, but if I have to give a one-liner, I love to jump in and say something and fill the void, but let me think. So, going beyond the execution of the event, all right? So I do have a marketing campaign. The goal is to engage more members, provide value, align with whatever the goal of that institution is. What I would say is, if you're designing events, look at not just execution of it, go beyond that. As in, after this event, am I going to come out with new partnerships? After this event, the attendees or my stakeholders or my members, what are they going to get? Are they coming with new connections? What value did they perceive? You might have spent a lot of money on this. You might have spent 400 hours on this event in a 1 month span, but the event is done. Now what? So it all goes back to your overarching vision of the institution, and you try to tie it all together. I did the event. Did the event lead to what? New partnerships, new connections, new networks? Did the event provide value, to our members? Can we go beyond just whatever was delivered in that event? Can they take something more? So again, see beyond the event. I love to take things back, think about it, and then draft things off. So it's really tough for me to say anything beyond that right now.
No, but
I don't want to. Yeah.
This is good. This is exactly what I was expecting. This is exactly how I see it as well. So this was our goal, to share with the members right here at PMI Manitoba what PMI Global is doing and how they want us to see ourselves moving forward in this rapidly changing world. So we're going to see ourselves as project managers that not only think about the project delivery, but also think about what are the outcomes, right? The definition of a project at the PMBOK V6 and V7 is anything that generates a product, a service, or a result. So if you're generating a result of your project, an outcome of your project, a service, then how does that apply to completion of your project and beyond the completion of your project? So it makes a lot of sense to me, and I think a lot of people are already thinking like that. Their industries are changing rapidly. They have to change as well. I am looking forward to see what else is coming up. Darren, thank you for your time here today.
Absolutely.
This was amazing.
Today was great.
Thank you for delivering the value you have delivered to the chapter in 2024 and continue to do so beyond that.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I really appreciate you discussing this project insights with me. Any member who's listening to this or watching this video, this is just beginning. And like Rafael was saying, we would love to deliver beyond this one instance, beyond this one. We constantly are going to come back to you and take feedback. But again, thanks for having me. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Darren. Good stuff. Have a good one, eh? Cheers. Bye.